Here in Gran Turismo 7, the GR1 category is easily the most slept on group of cars in the entire game in my opinion, and seeing as I made a video on the top 5 GR3 cars that you must own, and that is the most viewed video on my channel at the moment, I thought to myself this would be an excellent opportunity for me to do a video like this for the other categories as well, and today we're going to be covering GR1 in particular, so buckle up because I have made some absolutely amazing setups for this video. So the first thing I want to say is that if you are new to the channel or have seen a few of my videos before, consider leaving a like, comment, and subscribing, as this really helps me out more than you guys can imagine. I appreciate all the support I've been getting in 2026 so far. But without further ado, let's get into my top 5 cars in GR1 that you should absolutely own. At the number 5 spot, I have put the Dodge SRT Tomahawk VGT car, the Group 1 version of course, not to be confused with the Tomahawk X. And while the Tomahawk GR1 looks extremely intimidating and menacing, it's honestly a complete sweetheart to drive. In fact, that's the main theme with this car, is very easy and controllable in almost all situations. For a rear-wheel drive GR1 car with 988 horsepower, it does a fantastic job putting down the power in low-speed corners, and the overall downforce potential as well as the feeling of said downforce through the corners feels very progressive. I've actually removed a lot of rear downforce off of this car because it really doesn't need much more than 1400. Now, if you go lower than 1400, it does become a little bit more unstable, and the car starts to break away in the traction zones, which is something that you definitely don't want in a rear-wheel drive Group 1 car. The high-speed cornering is almost the best in the entire class. I would say the only car in the class that has noticeably better high-speed cornering than the Tomahawk is probably the Bugatti VGT, which this car just barely beat out for the number 5 spot. I took the Tomahawk over the Bugatti mostly because of its top speed, and on the tracks that you're typically going to be racing Group 1s on, there are longer straights, and the Tomahawk will typically have faster lap times when upgraded than the Bugatti VGT on those sorts of tracks. But yeah, the car is super stable and easy to control. The high-speed cornering is very strong. The transmission that has 7 gears makes it very easy to stay in the power band. If I were to nitpick on some small grievances, I would say that the performance points is a little bit high for the overall package. There's a couple GR1 cars that I think are a little bit better that come at a much lower performance points. I do think the Tomahawk picks up a very mild understeer in low-speed corners, but honestly, this thing is a very strong all-rounder that I recommend to anyone. Another excellent option in my opinion that just edges out the Tomahawk, at least for me, is the Peugeot 908 HDI FAP. Now, questionable naming aside, I give the 908 the edge over the Tomahawk because it is contending for the fastest real-life GR1 car in the entire game when upgraded. Now, if you were to put a gun to my head, I would say that the Audi R18 2011 is a little bit faster on most tracks, but that car has an extremely big problem putting down the power in low-speed corners. Now, the 908 also has this same problem, but not to nearly as big of a degree, which makes the 908 way more of a sweetheart to drive than that R1811. And while the 908 is able to match the R1811 on a lot of tracks, it does it with a much lower performance points rating and is generally much better on BOP settings as well. And I feel like there's something to be said about a real-life GR1 car that's actually able to contend with some of the best VGT options in this game. In addition to the aforementioned benefits that I mentioned earlier, the 908 has lots of torque and a very forgiving power band, fantastic top speed for a GR1 car, not the absolute best but still very strong, but like I said, the low speed traction does leave a little bit to be desired, and due to the aero balance of this car, it does understeer significantly entering low speed corners. For some reason, the 908 with max front downforce becomes aerodynamically unbalanced at high speeds, so you have to lower the front downforce, and as a result, this does hurt the medium to low speed cornering, but I feel like that's a very small price to pay for one of the best GR1 cars in this game. Next up, we have the Porsche 919 Hybrid, and to be put simply, this is the fastest hybrid GR1 car when fully upgraded, at least it is on most tracks. It's very easy to control with its 4-wheel drive traction, it's very fast for performance points limited racing, and it's definitely one of the best BOP GR1 cars, if not the best at the current moment in time. Now, the GR1 BOP is not really all that balanced, to be honest with you, but I've seen the 919 Hybrid be the meta on many different tracks, and I give this the edge over the other 2016 hybrid GR1 cars just because it has the best high-speed cornering out of all of them. It also has a hybrid that regenerates on the straightaway, and it's the only one that can be fitted with a turbo upgrade to increase the performance further and make it far more competitive with some of the non-hybrid cars while fully upgraded. Now, the top speed will indeed be pathetic compared to the non-hybrid GR1 cars, so you really do have to pick and choose your tracks. If you're racing this car upgraded against non-hybrid cars, I would stick to tracks with very short straightaways. But this car is already unbelievable. I've featured it on the channel before in one of my older Porsche videos, and the setup hasn't even changed a little bit. It's still a fantastic option to this day. If you don't have this in your garage, whether it be for BOP racing or upgrade racing, it's a fantastic buy, especially for a 917 PP car. At the number 2 spot, I'm just going to put all of the Group C cars here. Now, I know that's a bit of a cop-out and I should probably pick one, but every single one of the Group C Le Mans cars, the Porsche 962, the Mazda 787B, the Mercedes Sauber C9, the Nissan R92 CP, and even the Jag XJR9. All of them are excellent options here in Gran Turismo 7. Some of the absolute best performance points racing cars in all of GT7, in fact. Bringing these cars down to 800 pp, 900 pp, whatever performance points that you want. They will dominate with their unbelievably great fuel mileage, fantastic top speed, and super lightweight. Now, if you do dare run them fully upgraded or maxed out, the Group C's will be down on downforce compared to a lot of modern GR1 cars, and the front downforce has to be sacrificed for them to remain aerodynamically stable at high speed. None of them can run maximum front downforce anymore, unfortunately. Now, if you want me to get into each specific car, I would say overall the best maxed out Group C car is likely the Sauber Mercedes, putting up lap times very similar to that of the maxed out 919 hybrid that I mentioned a few minutes ago. The Nissan R92 CP is also a very excellent maxed out option for tracks with high-speed corners, as this is the best high-speed cornering Group C car. The Mazda 787B has a fantastic blend of everything. It has great top speed, it's very stable and easy to drive, and has fantastic fuel economy right there with the R92 CP in that regard. The Porsche 962C has brutal acceleration and shares a lot of characteristics with the Sauber C9. Now, it doesn't quite have the same high-speed cornering capabilities of the Sauber, but it does so at a much lower performance points rating, and is a fantastic car for those like kind of short range acceleration based tracks like Red Bull Ring or Sardinia Road Track A. And lastly, the Jag XJR9, while it does have a best in class top speed, it does struggle to corner in the medium to high speed corners compared to the other Group C cars, which on most tracks does make it the slowest Group C on 1 lap pace. With that being said, it does so at a much lower performance points than all of the other Group C cars, which does make it worth it for performance points limited racing, especially if you're on a top speed based track. But overall, all 5 of these cars provide a unique and enjoyable driving experience, and when raced on balance of performance, they can hold their own in many situations against some of the more modern counterparts. And at the number 1 spot, the best GR1 car in Gran Turismo 7 that you absolutely should own is the Mazda LM55 GR1 car. Now, to put it bluntly, this is the fastest GR1 car around 90% of tracks when upgraded. There are probably a few tracks where the Bugatti VGT might edge this car out, as well as the Dodge Tomahawk potentially, but on tracks where GR1 is frequently raced, the Mazda LM55 is the king of the hill. In addition to its amazing 1 lap pace, it's unbelievably good on fuel, the best in the entire category. The 4-wheel drive system makes corner exits unbelievably easy, and on top of it all, the top speed is best in class while upgraded, which makes it an excellent option for Le Mans. And the best part of it all is it's only 941 pp, which for the clear-cut best GR1 car in the game is actually a very low performance points rating. So if you wanted to bring this down to a lower PP, it would be an excellent option down in the 800s. If there's one flaw to note of with this car, it can definitely snap sideways entering certain corners if you're braking and turning. I recommend always trying to brake in a straight line, but there are tracks where you're going to need to brake and turn at the same time at high speed, and this car does feel susceptible to snapping in those situations. I've tried to do my absolute best with the setup to nullify this issue without sacrificing the overall grip of the car in the corners, so I really do hope you guys enjoy this build. And before making this video, I honestly didn't realize how unbelievably overpowered this car is, but now that I have, I really hope you guys enjoy this setup. And I think this, combined with the other cars on this list, are going to provide you with hours and hours of enjoyment and much more potential to clear out these single player events in a prompt and efficient manner. Now honestly, GR1 is a bit of a mess right now in terms of the balance of the category, but one of the things that all of the cars seem to share is their usefulness here within Gran Turismo 7 for multiple different purposes, for multiple different tracks and circumstances. So I really hope you guys do enjoy this video. Like I said earlier, if you guys do enjoy or find usefulness from these setups, leaving a like, comment, and subscribing would greatly help me out. But without letting this video drag on too long, I hope you guys all have a fantastic night. It's been your boy Dude, and I'm out. Peace.